Hello friends, welcome to Share Them Smiles. I'm Alyssa, and I'm sorry in advance for the sound quality of this. For whatever reason, the microphones are getting a little staticky on my computer, and until I can afford some better technology, this is just what we're going to have to deal with. So here's my little microphone here. I also am sorry that I've already been proven a liar. If you're one of the few people who watched my last video, I said that I would have one up on Monday, and that clearly didn't happen. But hopefully you enjoy this one. So, I was a music major in college, and I love music so much. So when I realized that I hadn't been to a concert in a while, I decided that really wasn't acceptable. And so I have been kind of looking for different opportunities to go to different concerts. And I've been to 2 so far this year, and I'm going to talk about the first one in this video, and in the next video I'm going to talk about the other one, and hopefully you guys like it. So in July I went to see Melanie Martinez at Stage AE in Pittsburgh. And there was a baseball game going on that same day, so it was really crowded. But backtracking a little bit, there was a group of 4 of us, and since we would be coming from different directions, I decided to go down the night before to their town, and then we all headed over together. We arrived around 12:31ish, I believe. And when we arrived, the line was already about a fourth away down the block, around the corner a little bit, and which actually wasn't bad. It was a pretty good spot in line, considering that it was a sold-out concert, and by the time they opened the doors, it already had went all the way around the building and was kind of like going over itself. So we got there, and we had some snacks, and we had like blankets and an umbrella for while we were sitting out there waiting. And when we arrived, 2 things became very clear to me. The first one was that her main demographic is slightly younger than me. I definitely felt a little old walking up. I'm not old at all. I'm only 26, but I definitely was feeling like, oh, okay, so maybe her target audience is a little bit younger, but no shame in that. I still love her to pieces and was not going to let it get me down. And the second thing that I noticed was that her audience and her fans are like really dedicated and love her and really creative. There were a lot of people wearing like the t-shirts that you can get like at her show or at Hot Topic or any of the accessories. But there were also people who like did their makeup up or definitely like made their outfits somehow, and it was very clearly at least inspired by her, which I just thought was really cool, because if you have that kind of talent and creativity, to be able to show it off that way is really awesome. There were some other fun things that were going on, because everyone was so excited and sitting outside getting ready for this concert. There was a notebook that went around that everyone wrote little notes in for Melanie, because they were going to try to give it to her. And people were just kind of talking to people around them. And our group of 4 started talking to the 2 girls behind us. And everyone was getting along, and it was fun. It was really hot out, and there were some people who were walking around trying to like sell water and stuff. But there was also a restaurant down the street that people were walking to, because they were getting like a glass of water from there and then walking back because you could get it for free. But yeah, and it was really hot. And then later, it completely changed, and instead of it being sunny and hot, there was like a thunderstorm, and I hate thunderstorms, but luckily we had our umbrella, and so we had this one umbrella, and the 4 of us and the 2 girls behind us were all underneath it, wrapped in the blanket we had been sitting on before, with like our stuff in the middle, trying to keep it dry. And we noticed there was a 10-year age difference underneath that umbrella, me being the top of it, and the 16-year-olds behind us being the bottom of it. But it was still fun. It was nice getting to know everybody, and it was just a good time. Then I can't remember, I believe it was at 6 o'clock, the doors opened, and the line moved forward, and we put the stuff that you can't have in the building in the car, because luckily we were able to get a parking spot not too far away, and so we put our stuff in the car, and some people stayed back and saved the spot, and then we came back and got into the concert, and we were pretty close, I would say, to the stage. I would think maybe like 5 or 6 rows of people between us. It really wasn't too bad, and I was happy with it. There were a lot of people though, because it was a sold out concert. And it was interesting. So the opening act started, and the opening act was Handsome Ghost. Now, me personally, I love opening acts. I think that they're a great way to be introduced to a new artist, and if they're opening up for someone I like, then either their target audience is the same, or there's always a reason why that person is put in that position. And so I was excited to learn new music, and actually I had kind of looked them up a little bit before, kind of cheated a little bit, but they were great. I thought they did an awesome job. When they talked, it was like they were fun to watch, and their music was wonderful. I definitely suggest looking up Handsome Ghost. I'm going to put some of my personal favorites in the description below if you want some more specific suggestions of what to look up. But really, all of their music is amazing, and you should definitely look them up, and I thought they were great. What I didn't think was so great was some of the audience members who decided to talk through the whole thing, and even more than that, the ones who were shouting, like, "Where's Melanie?" or "Bring Melanie out." Like, I just think that's so rude. You don't know who these people are. Like, they could be headlining in the near future, and you could say, "Oh, I saw them when they opened up for Melanie. They're great," and you could watch their careers really blossom. But instead, you decide to be the person who's like, "Wait, where's Melanie?" Like, I understand. I'm excited too. I want her to come out as well. But at the same time, like, these are the people that are up there now, and they're doing an awesome job, and they should be treated with that respect. And I loved them. I just didn't necessarily love the atmosphere. Not caused by everyone. There were wonderful people in the audience, people who were listening, even people who maybe weren't interested but were being respectful. I just didn't like what I thought was just the blatant disrespect for this opening act, and that's just something that I've always felt that way about. But they're wonderful, so if you get a chance, please look up Handsome Ghost. So they do their whole thing, they're done, and it's like the intermission, and there's people all around, and someone went missing, actually, and they were looking for this girl. And at first, people weren't really taking it seriously, but then because it was delaying the concert, then people started to look. But more people were I felt like instead of actually being concerned for the fact that there is someone missing, were mad because the concert wasn't going on. And eventually, they were able to find her, and security was heading to her, but they hadn't even gotten out of the area when the lights went off. And I had already known that at general admissions concerts, it's a thing that there will possibly be this push forward. So it wasn't something that completely caught me off guard, but it was something that I knew with my anxiety might be a problem. So I was kind of trying to mentally prepare for it, but the lights went off. And all of a sudden, this crowd just pushed. And it wasn't like a little push. I mean, I tried to steady myself, and I was pushed so far forward. And I immediately, went into panic mode. And even, before it, I was trying to prepare myself. During it, I kind of knew, this isn't rational. But I couldn't help it. It was still what happened. And I was just no, this, I can't, stop. And I'm pretty sure I even screamed, "Stop," and just started hyperventilating and just went into full-on panic attack. And luckily, the person I was closest to in our group recognized that I wasn't okay, and kind of pulled me, not out because we were too far towards the middle that I could get out, but pulled me away from everyone else, and was as best they could, and was "You're okay, you're okay. It's fine, you're gonna be okay." And then the lights came on, and I actually ended up missing Melanie's entrance, which was out of the cradle that was in the middle of the stage, because I was just in a full-blown panic attack. And then it started, and I started to come down, but it definitely took a while. I spent the whole first song just sobbing and trying to catch my breath, which is a little ironic because the opening song was Cry Baby, so it fit almost a little too well. but I was able to eventually calm down and really enjoy the concert. Melanie is one of my all-time favorites. I know she only has like one full-length album out so far, but I just love the character. I love her music. I love all the artistry that she kind of has put into it. There's definitely a lot of thought in everything that she does, and it definitely comes through. And I also think her voice is just very unique and beautiful, and I love it. And the concert, even with me being hot, and then with the sun, and then with it raining, and then with the panic attack, even with all of that, it was totally worth it to see her, because she was up there, she was doing her thing, she was adorable, singing and dancing around. Her voice was gorgeous, as it always is. She went through her entire album from beginning to end in order. Which makes sense, because if you're not really a huge fan of hers, her album tells a story from beginning to end, so it all goes together, and there's definitely an order to it. And she did talk a little bit, but she didn't talk a lot, which I think is in part, to tell the story, but also in part just because I don't think that's so much her personality or where she's at as an artist right now, which is totally fine. And then after the concert, after she sang through everything, and it was phenomenal from beginning to end, her encore was Gingerbread Man, and then I believe she sang, there was one other song, and it was one of the bonus songs on her album, but I don't actually remember what it was off the top of my head right now, but it was wonderful. But it, because she just sounded awesome and everything. I wouldn't trade any of it. It was wonderful. I definitely suggest seeing her as well. I'll put some of my favorite songs from her in the description as well, but anything she puts out is wonderful, and I would suggest it. But yeah, it was a great time. I guess my only drawback from everything would be, I felt like the concert goers in some instances were actually just really kind of rude and selfish, and it made me really kind of sad, because I was there to have a good time and see my favorite singer, and I wasn't going to let anything get in the way of my good mood, but at the same time I was respectful to the people around me. The fact that I came later and all these other people were in front of me, I didn't try to push my way in front of them or say really hurtful and mean things about them because they were standing in front of me, because I know one of the people in my group had people ripping on her because she was taller than them and they were behind her. And it's like, I understand you want to see Melanie too. We all want to see Melanie, but it's not her fault that she's tall, and she has every right to be here too and experience the concert and have a good time. And if you can't see, you can adjust, you can figure out a way to deal with that. There's no need to just be mean. And with some of the instances of other things going on, like when the other girl was lost, or there was another girl who they were worried about, medically, I think she was getting dehydrated or something, and her sister was trying to bring water to her. The second time she went through, the audience got in the way and was not wanting to let her through, because the first time there were other people with her who claimed to be with her but weren't, and just used that as a way to cut in front of more people. I just think that as a whole, we're all there to enjoy the same thing, and I think we need to be respectful of each other and try to make sure everyone else has a really good experience too, because I know the experience meant a lot for me, and I would hate to think that I took away from someone else's amazing experience when they got to see, one of their favorite musicians, one of their idols, which is what Melanie is for me. And I didn't let the audience get in the way of that, and there were some wonderful fans, so please don't think I'm going after all of Melanie's fans. She has some wonderful fans. I already told you how awesome I thought all the creativity and stuff was at the beginning, but there are just some other people that I just think we need to take care of each other. In instances like that, it can be hard, it can be a long day, but we need to take care of each other. And I guess that's all I'm going to say on that. Like I said before, Melanie Martinez, wonderful. You should look her up if you get a chance. And while I'm still speaking on her, she actually just put out her music video for her song Pacify Her yesterday. And while that is probably one of my least favorite songs on the album, which is still amazing. It's actually one of my favorite music videos, so you should definitely go check that out as well. And yeah, so if you ever get a chance to see Handsome Ghost or Melanie Martinez in concert, absolutely do it. And if you liked this video, would like to see more of it, please let me know by liking this video and commenting below. And if you're interested in future videos I have, feel free to click subscribe. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and don't forget to share them smiles. Ciao for now.